Well, I had to stay in top 40 radio, so that's why I went to Regina, because they had a top 40 station. But being in Regina and wanting to work in Toronto, that's a long way away, and I'm not sure I was, being noticed that much. And so I had to get east, and my friend J. Robert Wood had just started a station in St. Thomas with Hal Weaver and Paul Ski, and it was a very hot top 40 station in St. Thomas, Ontario. And I wanted to, I thought if I could work there, that would be really good. But they didn't have any money to move me or even pay my gas to go to St. Thomas. So I took a job at CJRN in Niagara Falls, and they did pay for me to move. And so I was working in Niagara Falls, and I was in Ontario now. And so I wasn't far from St. Thomas, and then I ended up getting the job in St. Thomas, working with J. Robert Wood, who was a huge influence on me. And I'd worked with him earlier at CKY in Winnipeg, and I just waited for my call from Ellen Waters, and I got a call from Ellen Waters not long after I was there. He wanted me to go to Halifax, and I didn't think Halifax was CHUM, so I said no. And at that time in Toronto, CKFH started up with Don Daynard and Keith Hampshire and Ken Fulton, Big G, and all these people. And they were really taking a big run at CHUM at that time. And so I thought, maybe I have to modify my position. Maybe CKFH is the place to be. So I applied at CKFH, and I got a job. And I thought, if it doesn't work out, I'm still in Toronto. And so I worked there for a while, and then J. Robert Wood came up to CHUM after I was here, and they put CHUM back together again and really sort of started to kill CKFH. So they offered me a job at CHUM, and that's how I ended up getting to CHUM. But I went through a lot of stations. I sometimes tell the story how fast I went through stations to get to where I wanted to go. But there was a record, if you look it up, about 1965 by somebody called Sandy Posey. It was called Born a Woman. And I was at CKY in Winnipeg when it was the pick hit of the week. I was in CJME in Regina as it approached the top. I was in CJRN in Niagara Falls when it was the #1 record. And I was in St. Thomas before it got off the chart. So I went through 4 stations in the life of one popular record. And then I did stay in St. Thomas for a little more than a year, I guess, before going up to Toronto.